So,
Yep,
all right.
let's call the T.B. Scott Free Library October 18th Board of Trustees meeting to order. Do you have any correspondence you'd like to share with us this afternoon?
I do not today. None.
And public comment?
I
They're
just-
gonna keep, all righty. Your pleasure on the minutes from our regular meeting of September 20th.
I'll make a motion to put on file.
I'll second.
Motion made and second to approve the minutes of our September 20th meeting. Any discussion? All in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, they are approved. Your pleasure on the unaudited monthly review and expense report for September.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the monthly revenue and expense report for September. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. Your pleasure on the monthly statistical report.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Motion made and second to approve the statistical report for September. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President. I just want to note that although it looks initially like there was a slight drop in usage, if you look at the breakdown of numbers, you see that almost all of that drop came from CDs and cassettes and a little bit from interlibrary loan. Otherwise, usage was up in most categories, including county usage. So just something to note. Otherwise, the numbers look good, the foot traffic is up, looks like we're busy, that's great.
We
So-
are.
You got a second on
Yeah, I did.
that? Motion made and second to approve the statistical report. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. All right. Action items. Standard of conduct of library patrons. Can I see it?
So we had the standard of conduct had a special notation for COVID, and it said we needed to revisit it when the COVID situation was, lifted. So that is why it is on our board agenda for a review. In the process, I made added an additional sentence to the introduction to the library's commitment to provide safe, welcoming, and inclusive place, and as an institution promotes and supports literacy, learning, and innovation. So just wanted to have that.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So made.
I'll second.
You got palm tool?
Yep,
Okay.
we're good.
Motion made and seconded to approve the standards of conduct for library patrons. Any other discussion? All in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Public use of meeting rooms. Again, very few, if any, a little bit of an adjustment, but not
Just a
common
few-
sense in my
Yep.
opinion.
Yeah, we needed to add some notification features. We were having some issues with no-shows, and just felt it was, the usage has gone up here, and so when people don't show up, other organizations or other groups don't have the opportunity to use that room. So we wanted to, let them know that the spaces are being used, and we needed to be prompt in letting us know. So that is why that was added, that language. So.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the public use meeting room policy as amended. Any other discussion?
Mr. President, so the question about the publicity and the directional signs, why would we do that? It seems to me we would want, even for non-library groups, we would want them to be able to know where they're
I was
going.
wondering about that as well.
So is there a problem
is
that
it
arose that we're doing
sort of
that?
akin to advertising,
So we can have signs that indicate like it's going up or down in that respect, but any other big signs, I guess I didn't specify there as far as, we've had some issues where we've had these organizations having larger signs put in place,
Uh-huh.
so that,
Like they put up a big banner or
well, not,
whatever.
a- yeah, they're just the larger signs,
But
are
it's-
just a.
Is it just the size of them, or are we concerned that the signs that they're putting up are messages that are maybe not consistent with the library's public
Yes.
mission?
Yeah, I mean, that is part of it,
Okay.
that is correct.
Okay, so we just want to stay as neutral as possible.
Yes,
We use
that is the purpose.
the library-owned dry erase arrow signs saying go that
Yep,
way and
yep,
nothing else.
Yep,
Just,
Great,
Yep.
thank you.
So there is some sort of a dry erase board that you can just.
Yep.
Oh, there is. Okay.
yeah, we do.
You're right, it's sort of freestanding.
And they move, yeah, and they move.
Gotcha.
and-
And
yep.
they're shaped like
And it
arrows.
shows
Yep,
people
yep.
when there's meetings.
Yeah,
It does.
yep,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
okay.
sufficient.
Yep.
Yep,
That's enough.
that works fine.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor of approval of the amended public use of meeting rooms policy, signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved.
All right. So Lauren, you were next on the agenda.
Sounds great. So you guys can all still hear and see me?
Yes. So Lauren is gonna give you.
See my dog that just jumped in?
Yes, someone noticed that right away. We have some very keen eyes here in the group.
We got dog people here.
We made her a bed so she could see out our second story. There she goes. Second story windows. Okay, it's a little laggy on my end. I'm not sure if it's internet or not, but if you guys missed anything, just feel free to flag me or drop something in the chat and let me know. Is
Okay.
that good?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so my audio freezing out. But yeah, Laura, do you want me to just start sharing my screen? Or let me know.
Yes, you may. No, you should be able to. Hold on. Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. We're good.
All right, you able to see this?
Yes, we are.
Great. And I don't know if you want to do any intro, Lori, otherwise I can just dive right in.
So I'll do just a little brief intro. Let me get rid of this little drop down there. There we go. So Lauren is part of the MSR design team. We met with Crystalline and Lauren to discuss the activity room in the youth services department and went through some of the specs. So this is kind of a draft of the schematic drawing that will be presented to an individual to give us a quote. And so they are going to share with you those details, or Lauren is going to share those details with you now. And then if you have any questions, she's available to answer those. So, all right, Lauren.
Great. So we've got a little project history to run through a bit, but just to lead off, so in terms of the activity rooms, this is kind of what we're thinking. It's a space that wants to be highly flexible, durable, so thinking about, more messy events all the way to readers or artist talks or lectures coming in, author talks, so just some precedents to show spaces that are doing so much double duty, triple duty, that this space could potentially hold. The programming needs that we know, this is kind of the list that we've run through so far. Spelling, spaces for art creation, digital literacy, gaming is a possibility of that, book clubs, lectures. Knowing that the room wants to be able to easy set up in different ways to cater to what the program is, and then story time as well, potentially. So from 40 to 50 people, and the abilities for everything to move out of the way. In terms of the technical requirements for the space, needing some storage or access to storage in many different forms. A sink, we've got some recommendations on the location for that. 3D printing was discussed as something that's not needed for this space, so which is helpful that we don't need to accommodate venting and different air exchanges. Electrical needs, needing an increase of outlets, obviously to support different programs. And Green for Technology, there's some options that we've been exploring for that, whether it's a mobile display, potential ways to mount it in the space. The existing conditions, this is just the exterior massing. This is the model that we're working from on our end when we do that field verification. We were out in Merrill a couple months ago. So for comparison, this is the room that you're all currently sitting in the lower. So it's about 1,115 square feet. So we'll kind of compare as we move up the ways in the space that we're looking at for the potential. the other existing activity room on the second floor near the current collection. This upper right-hand corner is the location that we've been looking at. So the different dashed line outprint or footprints that you're seeing here are of these other spaces. So the size of this magenta space, you're seeing it up here. The space is doubling, if not more, in size of that current existing activity room. And then this is the other existing meeting room on the third floor. So seeing that in comparison, I'll jump back here. That's that smaller green box on the screen. So it would be significantly larger than your other current spaces. So it's able to accommodate a lot of different types of programming. It's also a space that wouldn't have a column right in the middle of it. So just another thing to note for that one room. Point of contention. So this is that existing space that we're looking at enclosing to create this program room. So that corner of the youth collection towards the teen collection. So round one, we kind of got round 1 and 2 here of floor plans. Christy Lynn and I at MSR were just investigating the different levels of demolition, like is there a different ways that we can scale. So these versions here are showing 3 different layouts for like 3 different programs in the same footprint. This one being, so keeping the storage room as is, and then just bringing in new walls, introducing sink and plumbing in this new wall that would be created, but it's following where this wall jogs. Really is where we're aligning our new wall with. But this is showing more than that makerspace or a type classroom setup, more lecture versus like a story time floor cushion type setup. One thing to note as we were investigating in terms of building codes and occupancy, we can't exceed 49 occupants without needing a second exit. So that introduces round 2 here, but that's just one thing to note. Going with a scheme like this, programs would have to be limited to 49 occupants in the room. Looking at a potentially smaller footprint, doing a little bit of demo to that storage room, shrinking that down, but giving that space then back to the program room itself. This aligns the newly created wall with on the center between these 2 windows here on the north end. And in both instances, we're looking at this wall on the left-hand side of the room being all glass. So we're still getting light transference from outside to in between the 2 and great visibility into that space out back here. So that's what this wall would be as well. So this is a smaller footprint function. The round 2, we'll start looking at getting that second entrance in there so you can have that greater capacity for this space. And this seemed to be leading more towards what felt like would support the library longer term, as well as just having a larger, like flexible space that can be used in different ways. So having that full glass front for maximum views and daylight access, getting the sink near this kind of concise millwork area, so you could have that lower storage, upper storage, and sink with great countertops to use for different supplies for programs. And then using the back end here of the storage, we could actually carve out from that, get some tall cabinetry in there, so the room itself has independent storage, but then there's also storage that's accessible to the rest of the library, say if a program's going on and people need to access what's in here, or vice versa, if we need to be able to fully empty this room, you can fill it back up in the storage room with the potential tables or any other equipment that's not needed for whatever program's trying to be hosted. So this gets closer to 75 children, which is really, I think, great, maintaining the clearances that you would need around the space. And then we can kind of flex with, if there's less floor cushions, you have more seats for, adults or caretakers. And this is thinking having one staff person with a table and a digital display for a story time type scenario. This is similar, just looking at a lecture, so it's from 56 to 60 people. So you're able to have those 2 entrances for that type of occupancy, but similar. You have great daylight access oriented towards the 2 potential mobile displays. Probably can get it down just to 1 or 2 as well for that quantity of people. But otherwise, the room's unchanged. And this is looking more at a 30% classroom type scenario. So these tables being flip top and mobile gives you a lot of flexibility for how to set up this room and different people that want to host events there. These are some interior shots just to look at what this could be. This corridor is, I think, a bit dark just due to the nature of the rendering, not how reality would be. But thinking if we're bringing that lower 42-inch height shelving in front of this. It gives us still, capacity for collection, but maintains the sight lines and daylight bleeding over from those exterior windows into the space, as well as just across and into that space to see the excitement that's going on. These white boxes that you're seeing here are the mobile displays, so that's just, it could be a mobile whiteboard, it could be a lot of different things. And this is a view from the inside in that classroom scenario, so you get a great shot of that big glass wall and then the different millwork elements that just give you more storage within that space. That was quick, I know, but I can run back to any slides if people have questions or if you have any other.
Lauren, can you go back? Can you go back to the slide with the room rendering? Yeah, I want to point something out to everyone. So currently, this space right here, we have a desk type Carol thing that sits in there. So that's an open space right now that really isn't utilized at all. So, the thought was to build in those cabinetry for storage in that room. So that's what that is. I wanted to point that out. So. Questions from anybody?
I'd like to ask a question of a fellow board member who's got a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Did your eyes pop when they said 75 kids in a room?
That's a no-brainer. With the capacity, long-term capacity, I'm thinking 2 classrooms.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
I say 2 classrooms, I'm talking 2 classrooms, middle school,
Yeah.
you could get 60 kids.
Yeah.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah,
But
it can be done then.
It can be done.
Right.
The other version, you could be
No.
limited to only 1 class.
And that was
So,
one of the things we recognized right away when we met with them, and we went that direction immediately with the hope that we could.
So Elizabeth was having a little bit of a panic attack.
No,
Okay.
well, yes, well, I've had 30 kids in a classroom, but they
Yeah.
were 19 years old. I mean, that was a lot. So, but that's why I say, the expert in the
There you
room, who's experienced that, says that's the right target, then that's a good thing to know.
And
Yeah.
so what acoustically is done to that room to make it that 75 kids isn't a lot with the glass wall? Is that?
Well, they would just sit there quietly.
So,
Oh, I
yeah,
They would just sit there quietly.
the glass, Lauren, speak to them on the glass walls a little bit.
That's a dream.
She'll speak to that.
Yes, the glass walls will be, there's a specific thickness or air gap between the panes of glass, so it's gonna do a lot of sound reduction from inside the space to outside. There won't be a lot of sound transference between the two. And then the ceiling tile as well is gonna do the most of your heavy lifting of acoustic absorption. So it would probably be a similar, inlay, just relooking the grid within that room
Right.
efficiently.
I mean, we know
And then if
that.
it's a consistent issue, there could be supplemental,
Right.
additional acoustic things that are mounted, up above or
On the walls.
like baffles, things like that.
Yeah.
What about floor covering? What is the floor covering?
Would you expect to have 60 kids in there on a regular basis?
We could,
I mean, you could, but
yeah,
okay.
yeah, no, we can make it happen, can't we?
It's a challenge.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of summer stuff that we do
400,
where we
you
would
get
have
that
really
road,
large
yeah.
groups of people and things like that, so.
As for the flooring, we're talking about a softer, a non-porous, kind of like a gym floor type, so that it's
Yeah.
rubber flooring, but it's a non-porous, so that we don't have more durable. Yep.
Yep.
And it's clean upable.
Yeah. No more carpet.
Correct.
Any other
Yeah, we're
questions?
some paint and carpet.
Any other questions for Laura?
I guess, how long and how much disruption of daily library activities, how long does it take to sort of contain the project? And that, then the corollary to that is, how long is regular library service disrupted? And have you thought about how you'll transfer that around so that, I presume we can still be using
Yep.
half the
Yes.
space while that's being done. So, and I realize that's a guess, it depends on contractors and things,
Right.
but you've got the experience, so I'll trust your guess.
For program?
Yeah, it's a good, of course, that's a great Christine question, but it's isolated enough in the corner
Yeah.
that it actually shouldn't be like we're going to be moving collection of it, but it still is fairly open. In terms of timeline, I don't think I can speak to that as well, but it's just constructing 2 walls and stubbing the plumbing. It's a pretty minimal project in my experience, so it shouldn't be a prolonged effort.
Yeah, the floor.
That was, I think, be taxing on staff and patrons.
And we can get all the plans, adjustments through the front door?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll make it happen. That's on Nick.
There's that dog
I
again.
know.
Yeah, all right,
That'd be awesome.
All right, any other questions?
Good to go.
all right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lauren. We'll stay in touch. All right, bye.
Okay, thank you, great to see you all.
Yep, bye-bye.
Yeah, when they remodeled the store there, it used to be the old Drew's. They took the whole wall down to be able to work on the inside because they couldn't get in the door.
Yeah.
That's why it just,
They were driving,
Pardon me?
they were driving like skid
Yeah.
steers inside going everywhere.
Yeah, I don't
So I
think-
don't think
Yeah.
we'll need that.
Yeah.
So this was meant as an update for you. But the piece that we're working on right now has already been, approved, so we're just moving forward, and I wanted to, let you know where we are at with that. So the next step is I will be working with Nick. They're going to finalize the schematics based on our discussions, and then Nick will contact the contractor that he suggested we at least get a bid from, with or a quote from, with the understanding that we couldn't guarantee that he would have the project, that he would have to go through, the bidding process at some point. But just so we had an idea, so I have an idea of, how much I need to raise to get it done.
Well, much like Lincoln Windows, or Lincoln, products helped us out with windows previously, we have one of the country's premier curtain wall manufacturers
Yeah.
here in Merrill. So getting some of this material might, and obviously they also would have to bid, but
Right.
hey, it kind of keeps your carbon footprint small if you can use a local producer as well. And they might be interested in making a really good bid because it's great publicity.
Yeah.
So who knows? It's always worth a shot.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Any other questions?
Anything else? Our long-range plan, survey update?
So I shared with all of you the questions, the survey that is going out.
I thought we were supposed to fill it out, so I did.
Oh, that's okay.
And then I read the packet. Got mine here.
That's okay, that's okay. So it went online on Monday, and we've had, at each service counter, we have paper copies for individuals to complete as well, with the deadline of mid-November. So that will give me enough time to plunk through the data that we receive, and hopefully we get a good number of people. We will keep PRing it, we will send it out on social media. It'll be on the radio as much as we can between now and then. And then I will have Erica Brewster and Art Lurch, they have offered to assist with extrapolating the data from those surveys. And my goal was, as I had mentioned in the procedure, that by January we would have a report then from that information. So.
Thank you. Endowment fund donations and.
Yep,
updated
approved.
brochures.
Yep, so we had a really, really outdated brochure for the endowment fund. It had our old website address on it. So that has been updated. This is what it looks like. We're working with Rindell Printing to get those printed, and then we will be, as suggested by Gus, we will be sending some out to the funeral homes in the area so that they have access to those brochures as well. So we recently did receive some funds, so, and our PayPal account. Without PR, I've already gotten 2 donations through PayPal, through the online, so. I was pleased with that, so.
Okay. Any questions or, are any strategic plan goals from the floor? Any questions or comments? I hope you all read it. And then evaluating the director. So your report, please.
Just, I provided you information from Wisconsin Valley Library Service, the director's report there. Friends of the Library, they are working on the closet. It is packed. I mentioned in some posting that we have books, they're like pretty much falling out into our staff lounge. We have shelves of books in there as well. So they are excited to get that set up. We have staff working really hard, putting out some additional books for the perpetual sale that the Friends have going on, because we don't have the space for the donations. I think this morning someone said they came in with like 4 boxes more books. I mean, we can't keep up. We're running out of space. So we have staff. Kat Ufdahl has been helping kind of bag up some children's books, and the Friends have agreed to selling those in the bags, and we've had people coming in and grabbing 5-6 bags at a crack, which is really nice. I mean, we don't have the space to host them, so they're leaving the building. Mentioned the endowment fund portal, that being complete, and we will start doing some more PR work on that now that we know that it is functioning properly. The survey has gone out. Second Staff Development Day was held on the October 9th. Staff enjoyed that. We have Michelle Dennis here from the Hedberg Public Library, and she's in charge of their security at the library. So she brought in some scenarios for the staff to go through, had good discussion, and it was good for everyone to have some ideas on how to handle, the troublesome patrons that we sometimes, and they're very few, but you know what, they can make you uneasy. So it's nice to have someone that gave us some ideas on how to handle that. She talked about those 5 universal truths of human interaction, and that just goes to say for everything in everything we do. So I'm excited about the November Staff Development Day on November 10th. We are going to be working with Scott Seeger and Jennifer Thompson from the ADRC of Central Wisconsin to become a dementia-friendly library. It is something that several libraries in the southern part of the state already have the designation for. Antigo has gone through some of that training in the past. By doing so, it kind of puts our library on the map. And my hope, and as I mentioned in my report, is that we can reach out to other businesses and other organizations in the community to make Merrill a dementia-friendly community. So we have already talked with the ADRC about setting up a memory cafe here at the library. That is a nationwide program. Libraries have like once a month or twice a month, however we would decide. It's basically a place for individuals that are suffering from some type of memory loss to come with their caretaker, and there's a place for them to sit and just kind of have coffee and tea and talk and relax and chat, and there's, we may have some passive programming type things for them to do while they're here, some games to play. Some of the memory cafes will bring in some of the more techie tools just for that generation to enjoy. Individuals that suffer from those memory losses will have
music.
Yep, music. That is one of the things we've already looked at, considering having individuals coming in to play for those days that we have those memory cafes. We've already, I believe, Maria has already reached out to the Gilks because they enjoy playing their violin and things like that. So we will try and seek out individuals in the area that are instrumental in nature. We have a beautiful piano that could be played for something like that. So there are a lot of different things that we're hoping that we can do in that area.
Yeah, it's really, like they did when I go to Pinecrest or the places in Wausau, those dementia people, I think they really enjoy it, you know.
Yeah. Next week is the Wisconsin Library Association Conference. Both Andrea and Maria and I will be attending. The exploration team for the consolidation of the library system, that continues, and I've been meeting with them. They're currently looking at vendor selection, and Maria was on that team, as she's been on a similar team through the Wisconsin Valley Library Service. One thing to point out that I realized I failed to put in my report was that on Monday, October 23rd at noon, we will be recognizing Natalie Scribner. The Merrill Historical Preservation Committee had recommended having a sign placed in the area recognizing her many years of service. She was the longest serving director for the library from 1922 to 1948, 26 years. So we will have the unveiling of her sign on Monday at noon. It's going to be located just outside of the skateboard park at the intersection of Polk and First. So, and it's there.
It's there.
covered.
It's there. I saw it on the way in.
So-
And
And then afterwards we will have cookies and beverages, of course.
in the cafe area.
Yes, in the kind of the lounge area when you first come in. So, and everyone is invited to join us.
Yeah, she was, if I can wax soporific about Mrs. Scribner, she was, as Lori said, the longest serving director. She more than tripled, almost quadrupled the size of the collection here during that time period, which of course included the Great Depression and World War II. She was one of the founding members of WVLS, the Wisconsin Valley Library System. We were one of the first libraries in the state to engage in interlibrary loan, and that was an effort of hers. And she expanded rural outreach services, so there was library delivery to different townships throughout the county. So she was incredibly innovative, and one might argue that she touched the lives of more Lincoln County residents than almost any other political or public figure in the county during that time period. So she was quite the character, and we're pretty excited about celebrating her. Chris upstairs found some pictures of her, and
we
the
did.
Photo News will have an
Yes.
article, and there'll be cookies in the cafe. and yeah, we'll talk about the rural delivery later on. But she was really committed to the public good, and spent really the bulk of her life in this community, working for the people of this community. So, thank you, Lori.
Yeah. And that's all I have for my report.
I don't have anything to say other than, anybody got any comments? And I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second.
Made and second to adjourn. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thanks again for everybody coming.